Thank you very much, Seltzer and the desk. Yes, we've got China and Thailand squaring up here on the stage, Lee. And one of the biggest surprises for us of the entirety of this week's senior teams play is how good these Southeast Asian teams have been looking.
Yeah, absolutely. They have all been rocking it well. China coming into this one, everybody was giving them a big favourite tag. Obviously, you had Korea, China, Finland and Sweden. They were the big four.
Right.
But as the scrims have developed, suddenly everyone's saying, hang on a minute, these teams all from Asia are starting to look good. We heard Monty talking about it. The Thailand team are all 6 members from the same team. They are coming into this one well-drilled, well-oiled, all in the right position. There's no meshing problems coming in together. They are all used to each other. They're sponsored. They are winning tournaments in Thailand. So this is a big challenge. And it's something that actually, you know, obviously France, we were close to coming into this event because we worked with some of the guys. They were coming into this so confident, and then they saw Thailand in scrims, and suddenly it's like, hang on, this is not going to be easy. Thailand can put a big challenge on China.
And just on that note as well, that also, I believe, provoked a bit of a role change in the side of France. But anyway, let's get on to this one. Lee, we didn't even talk about it. It's going to be King's Row between these two teams. A commonly chosen map in China, probably one of the most common here. In this team as well, I do want to point out, Meng Mao and Pengge have come in as subs for the players that weren't able to get here due to visas. Both incredibly good. They're from Snake Esports. Pengge, in my opinion, is one of the best tanks in China. His name actually translates to Fat Bro, so I mean, I guess if you're a tank, the mindset kind of does apply quite well. His charges are very good. He plays the mind games that I talked about on the desk earlier on quite well. And then Meng Mao, a jack of all trades. Meng Mao now actually means cute kitty. The name he normally goes by is Hua Mao, which is more like a spotted or calico kitty, but we're going to call him cute kitty now. It's very ironic because he's playing Reaper, but again, keep an eye on those two. They bring a lot of experience and cohesion to this team.
I'm just seeing KOKFC. The Mao is spinning that shield. His sensitivity must be so high on that Reinhardt to be able to do that. But here we go. It's going to be the Hanzo little shot to get a bit of vision to start things off. Is he going to stick with it? We'll see whether he decides to switch that out. I suspect he will. And he's going to get himself over to the Hog. So this is going to be a triple tank setup on the push. Actually make that 4 because there's a D.Va in there.
They baited that Mei wall out so well. The fact that only D.Va went across, she can fly back over. Now no walls available, and this is where Thailand can start the fight.
Well, they're going to try and catch something different out. It's going to work out for them. No, because the Reinhardt gets taken down. Meng Mao comes straight in, takes down Puto on the Reinhardt, and instantly China will come out strong in that initial defense. Now, obviously, this being King's Row, you may or may not have seen this map before. If you're new to Overwatch, King's Row is a very difficult payload map to cover off. It's known as a hybrid because you have to cap out that initial first point, and it is a long spawn runtime from your base on the defending side. So it is really tricky. If you lose one guy, that's when you're in trouble.
I mean, this quad tank lineup for Thailand is super interesting. The fact that they're sort of using the Roadhog, they don't even have a DPS player on their team, of course, which is often the case here. So it means Obito really needs to get these hooks in. He is the DPS player. He is the captain of this team. We're looking at him to make things work. But Thailand, look at them. They can keep coming forward. They're not taking enough damage to really make them, you know, honest. But there's Meng Mao coming with 3 quick kills. That's how you break tank stacking comps. Just put the Reaper in there, make sure he's got the protection, and they shut it down.
That's it. Obviously, you got the big shotguns coming out of the Reaper, and it will do a heck of a lot of damage to those big, fat targets which are on the screen. So, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Thailand, they've had 2 attacks. It's not worked. Here we're going to see Jamli with the wall. Splits them beautifully. Separates them down. 2 people came through there now. Can they work them down? Graviton Surge is ready to go, but it's going to get pulled in instead. It's going to be a Graviton Surge on Graviton Surge. Some very close-knit action there. The Earthshatter didn't really catch anything there, and this is actually suddenly working out well for Thailand. YJP managed to take down Kurdos, though, so the Ana's not there to keep the healing up, which means it could be a problem for the rest of Thailand.
Thailand have most of this point captured, though. They just need to win this next little fight, and the sound barrier coming down is going to help them in that regard. There's KOKFC getting the big KO on Naiba, and the charge comes in through the hotel. Pengge is prevented from even standing on and stalling the point out because KOKFC is coming out from nowhere with the charge himself.
So, good time. Wasn't the greatest initially. Took them 3 attacks to break through the deadlock that China had up, but Thailand managed to break it down. And we're going to see any switches here. Is Jamli going to stick to Mei? I'm not too sure. It is a fairly decent run. They're going to be stacked up just around the corner, so they're going to reach this library store just on the side here, or bookstore, whichever you prefer to call it. There's the inn on the corner, and this is generally where they're going to get caught out at the moment. It looks like they're going to go aggressive, Thailand.
This D.Va is still so interesting to see Mickey on the D.Va as well. Arguably one of the most mechanically skilled players on this team, but it just blows my mind to see it here. We'll see if it works out. Hopefully the desk can talk to us about it a little bit later on. You can see that Mickey tried to get into the back line on towards Meng Mao. That failed. He got desuited. And only Pungay falling there on the side of China from NZNR now as well, which means Thailand will be sort of corralled off here. Wall comes up behind them. Graviton Surge in response, so a chance here, but it's the mutual Graviton being brought out. KOKFC, a lot of options of where to hold the shield, and eventually he's frozen solid.
Yeah, I got a question, honestly, at the beginning of the fight. You see Kurlos go down to a Xayah. How is that happening as the first kill? Is Kurlos' positioning, is he going too deep there, or is maybe YJPP going too deep? I don't know.
YJPP is not known for aggressive positioning, actually. He's just known for very good tracking, and actually he's very safe, honestly. It's kind of one of the strongest parts of IG Fire in that regard, is that he can sort of keep himself out of trouble in that way. So I don't really know here. I mean, you know, NZNR, of course, coming forward as well. He and the Xayah, the only guy to get a kill on the Reinhardt. Self-destruct goes up, catches no one, falls a little bit short of the ground now. Most of the fight's occurring off-screen as NZNR is in a bit of a duel, but here come the mutual sound barriers out, and KOKFC gets a nano boost.
Yeah, Pangay catching them all out. This is not going well for Thailand. They're going to get dropped once again. YJP comes through, gets himself a quick triple, and that is all she wrote. 2 minutes 30 on the clock for Thailand. They need to maybe start looking at some adjustments here and there. Is going to be an adjustment. Mickey going over to Xayah.
YJP doing so much damage on the Xayah right now for China. He's doing the top damage, 7.4k to be exact, and you can see how much important it is to keep that good energy. He's got 60% average energy on Xayah, so he is always going to be hitting like a Mack truck regardless. And we'll see now, as Thailand need to go pretty soon. They've got 2 minutes left. NZNR forced already into the ice block, and no, it's going to be the Graviton Surge catching Thailand all together. And the Blizzard combo, there is no one going to be standing around after the smoke clears here.
That is just a multi-layer faceted attack that just works so far. And look how aggressive China are now. They're keeping them in the archway. There's only 3 exits here. There's the archway, there's a window above, and there's an exit just to the left-hand side. And Thailand are just being pinned in their spawn point. You can see the payload slowly but surely backing up, and Thailand are running out of time. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. They need to do something, and they need to do it fast.
So NZNR on that May as well. Let's see what he can do now. Last time he kind of was forced into ice blocking very early in the fight and then got caught on a Graviton here. You can see that Meng Mao is waiting for someone to drop down. China have at the ready the combo, of course, with Reaper going in with the Death Blossom, but no, he's going to get frozen early, gets taken down. Earthshatter comes in over the top as well. Pungay gets on towards Kurlos here, but you can see now that Mickey and co are pushing back on China. They overextend a little bit too far, and the Blizzard catches them out. Now they're going to have to back away as much as they can, but still YJP is going to struggle to stand up against the heat Thailand are bringing here.
It's the boosted Xayah, who we've seen quite a few times throughout today, but it didn't work out this time, and finally Thailand do break that deadlock. Now, looking across the ulti board, you can see, of course, Putu sat there with the whole hog. Kurlos has himself the more all-important nano boost. I'm just going to look to see who he can actually boost up. It's probably, actually, it may even be the Reinhardt. They're probably just going to send the Reinhardt in. He doesn't really need anything ready waited to go. Mickey off the side there is going to get walled away from the rest of his team, and that's going to cause them a real problem. They're separated, and China just surround them.
Yeah, Opus right now got to be careful. There's not much you can do, actually, when you're nano boosted as that Roadhog there. It doesn't give you much more damage over time, really. Meng Mao gets himself 3 kills in the fight. China can lean upon the strategy of using Meng Mao on the backline quite comfortably here. Thailand, for some reason, won't go away from the triple tank setup here, and that's fine. But this Roadhog, maybe not really having the desired impact here. And Meng Mao, look, when you get Jamlee throwing down blizzards like that, it is Reaper's Winter Wonderland. It is so easy for Meng Mao to get those kills. And now, time's going to be up for Thailand. One more chance, but the storm may not even be forthcoming. No, it's not going to be enough. And China with the hold outside the foundry. Thailand pulling up a little bit too short.
Yeah, the separation of that ice wall. I think was it Jamlee that was on the
yes, he was on the
on the May. The separation just catching the 2 people out, and the time you're that far away. The spawn is all the way back through the arches. You're back at the statue. You've got to run all that way to get separated from your team, living in a 4-on-6 situation. Basically, there was no chance for Thailand there. So kind of their own aggression, their over pushing, kind of called them out there. So China. Now, what can they do? Of course, it is not over yet. Thailand set themselves a marker. It's just outside the second phase. And China, well, they're going to be feeling pretty confident, I feel there. You can see that on their faces. They have a clear face of concentration, but there were some big smiles at the end of that game.
That's right. I think, like, China, a lot of these players being from Invictus Gaming, actually, and one team, in my opinion, along with probably Vici that, in my opinion, really got a good understanding of the Western meta fairly early on. And a lot of Chinese teams are characterized actually by a reluctance to sort of play the same style that we're seeing out of Korea and out of North America and Europe. They like to focus a bit more on pocket picks and comfort picks. But, I mean, IG especially really used Mei a lot. They got a player called Roy back home, back in China, who is very, very well known for his Mei play. So it'd be interesting to see now what China want to come out on the attacking side with. YJP does occasionally go for the Pharaoh. We've seen it from him before. Didn't work very well in Shanghai, but I mean, if Thailand are going to play this stacking tank comp with very little medium to long range damage, then yes, you can rule the skies as Pharaoh.
Well, looking at Thailand as well in the defense, obviously we talked about the Symmetra. We expected this might come out. We've got the Junkrat in there. We've got a very different comp coming out from what we saw in China here. We did have some change there. Looks like the Anna's going to come through as well. So, well, I mean, like you say, for YJP, he's just got to be careful because it's going to be the hook. There's the McCree in there, and well, Zalfek's just going to pretty much say, "Hi, I'm here. I want as much ulti charge as I can get." Just going to throw those big orbs out straight away.
So let's talk about, obviously, lacking a Symmetra means you don't actually have a Lucio on your side of the map to respond to the opponent's movements as much. There you go, YJP gets hooked in. That's one thing you've got to be careful of. But no Lucio means you can't engage or disengage and catch the enemy team by surprise or off guard so much. China are going to pretty much, or Thailand, sorry, if they do sort of want to disengage, they're going to hope that NZNR gets a decent, knockback off the concussive mine and hope that they can really work from there. But that's really it. So if Thailand get caught in a fight, they can't really go back. They need to keep going forward.
Well, there's going to be a Riptide, a very early one. He's going to try and hook it around the side. He should be able to catch out the Reaper as soon as he comes out of Wraith form.
Oh, Jelly got it first!
Got away from it. I don't know how. That must have been like a split-second time in there, but the rest of his team have been pecked away. YJP, though, comes around the side. It's just a simple frag. It's not going to be anything else because the rest of his team are not there. He's not going to be able to push in, but still, hesitant start from China. They keep getting caught out, just losing that one man on the initial attack.
The longer they take, the more chances Alphix is going to get a good teleporter up and allow Thailand to easily reinforce in these fights. YJP, old school style. A Pharaoh goes into the back line and just throws rockets into the corner, hoping to splash and catch someone out here. He's in a decent position, but needs a little bit of healing from the Anna, and you can see that Naiva is supplying that. And now, the splash damage inside the Altworth Hotel. YJP going to get a lot of damage from this position, and the barrage is available.
They're being kept away from the point. They've already got the first marker. Comes around the back, catches him off guard.
Oh, God.
There's the barrage. Gets himself a quick triple, and that is absolutely going to be the payload captured. No doubt about that one. That's exactly what they needed. They were trying to quiver, trying to hide in the hotel. They back to enter the arches. Perfect trap set by China.
And straight away, Thailand responding to this. Keeping the Symmetra after the first point. This is so weird. Normally teams on hybrid maps like this one keep the Symmetra just for the first point and then get rid of it straight away. But Zalfix, for whatever reason, seems to think that teleporter here could really help them out. I see this very, very rarely. We've also seen Opto switch away from the McCree and go for the Roadhog here. So Thailand actually now have less tools to deal with a Pharaoh than they did in the first place.
Absolutely. So, okay, so he's got his teleport. That's what is he doing with it? Okay, he's going to stick it back here. I mean, it is a long spawn, don't get me wrong. It's a long run, but that's not exactly shaving much time off where he's just placed it, but it's going to give them a little bit of time. But here you can see Jamley getting caught out, so he's not able to get his Reaper Copter off. He does get it in the end, but he doesn't to zero effect. I think he got earth shattered down by the looks of it, but Mickey gets himself a couple of kills, so Thailand look like to be holding strong here. They're going to keep them at bay in the streets. That's going to be Koga and KFC going way too deep, getting caught out, and that's going to push on through, and now Thailand are in trouble. The golden marker is right there on your screen. That's all they need to hit, and they would take map one.
Teleporter's down here, but Thailand still need to spawn back in. You can see how desperately KFC is trying to get back to this fight. The problem is now Thailand are bleeding in one after another. It's not exactly a full team of 6 that are placing themselves there. Fortunately, they've been able to chip away at China as their waves have kept coming in now. Dealing with YJP will then sort of leave them free just to now face this next push. Blizzard comes in, you can see where that's been placed. That just means that Thailand have a bit of time to set up here, and anyone from China who gets too far ahead of themselves will be taken down.
A little bit of safety as well, a little safety net to clear off that payload. Everybody coming back through that spawn points to get themselves in. So far the teleport has helped them out, and bearing in mind they've got, what, 3 more minutes to hold this point. It is one team fight lost. It is over for them. Even with that spawn point there, I don't think they're going to be able to rush on through the teleport. There's going to be Meng Mao trying to push on through. He's got his Graviton on Surge ready and waiting. You can see he's looking for the moment. Fires it out there, catches him, but he's got a little far ahead of the rest of his team. It's going to be backed up by the barrage, but they can see the Biotic Grenade saves a lot of their life there. YJP only picks himself up one, but Pangay's back in around the side.
That's it. Big Bro's going to come in from the top of the monkey, and now it's going to be Jan Lee gets himself the nano boost here, but who's he going for? There's actually not many people left on the side of Thailand here, but China just trying to make it finished. Pangay with 4 kills now there as well as Alphix. There's nothing you can do against a Winston who's getting up in your face. You don't have to aim as Symmetra, but still, you don't do enough damage. But China, they've definitely done the deed. They're going to get this first map there by overcoming Thailand's time and distance and pushing to the Foundry lead. Interesting stuff to kick things off, and that's Symmetra. Zalfix stuck to that one like glue. I'm not sure how I feel about that one over past the second stage.
Yeah, I fully understand it for the start section, obviously. It's all about, we talked about it right at the start, it's a very long run to get back from that point. So it works there.
Right.
But why would you not switch off it? When you know there's someone like, obviously a Farah in the air that's causing you so many problems, why do you not switch off from it? You literally got triple killed, said, hello, this barrage has just wiped you out. Maybe you need to deal with this.
Well, hopefully the guys on the desk can talk to us a little bit about that, but we're now going to catch up a little bit here with the Chinese squad and see what they've been up to and what they're bringing to the Overwatch World Cup.
So China is a really unique region when it comes to esports because they don't believe in traditional sports, they believe in esports. And they're a team packed full of all-stars who have such high expectations on them, but they're also favored to win their groups.
确实有一些就是来自国内玩家对我们的一些期望，但是我觉得这些期望的话，与其说是压力的话，更可以说是对我们的一些动力，促使我们去争取更好的一些成绩。
我觉得，就粉丝对我们期待还是挺大的，就希望我们能打多好打多好吧。当然，我们也会尽自己最好的努力去获得更好的名次吧。
我感觉非常兴奋，因为这是对我来讲一个最大的世界舞台。然后我希望我和我的队友们可以在这次的比赛上发挥出自己想要的东西吧。
我们现在这个队伍挺开心的，一起玩，都气氛围什么都非常好。优点就是都相对比较乐观吧，也会挺努力去打的，乐观也是一个非常好的优点。
我觉得我们队最让我感到骄傲的地方就是团结，就是我们6个人非常的默契，而且平时私底下关系也特别好，所以说我觉得就是在团队配合上面，我们可能会比别人做得更好一点。
你问到我这次心情，就代表中国队参加这次比赛，很激动，就挺开心的，因为这种机会特别少。
It is really, really rare indeed. I have to agree with YJP there as well. To see all these teams from around the world competing here at the Overwatch World Cup. And we are getting through day one here, Lee. I mean, this game already in itself has been very interesting. Definitely some parts of Thailand's, you know, setup and gameplay we maybe raise a few questions about. Maybe it's more for the desk to talk about here. But I have to say, we've seen very good Zarya play so far in this series. Both Mickey and YJP, even Meng Mao actually flexing across to that one as well, have been instrumental in their roles. I mean, YJP featuring over 50% average energy on Zarya. Now, not easy to do sometimes when, you know, you can't always dictate when damages are going to be coming towards their shields, but important stuff there. Thailand, let's hope they got a little bit more in their bag of tricks.
Yeah, I think the greatest part of this Overwatch World Cup is the fact we are seeing a lot of different parts of the world that we ordinarily wouldn't see represented in Overwatch tournaments. So yeah. It's very much eye-opening, I think. Obviously, we just saw Chinese Taipei really putting pressure on Finland. We're going to see whether Thailand can maybe pressure China. China we've seen a lot of, obviously, recently. But there's a lot of nations out there that are somewhat surprising. Obviously, this is day one. We are yet to see them all played out so far, but it is looking pretty good. Of course, we're moving on to Hanamura now. We've seen this map a number of times tonight. It is a very tricky map to complete. I think that's fair to say. There's a number of stumbling blocks. However, it's one of those maps that you either finish very quickly and flip it straight in a double, take both A and B site almost simultaneously because you get that ult advantage, or you really, really struggle and just catch yourself on a stumbling block.
Yeah, the reality is that, I mean, the difficulty in holding a point, especially on a map like this one, really depends on how close the defenders spawn to it. Now, this first point, Thailand will spawn actually quite a long way away from it, back in the initial temple. So that's a long walk to get back to the point. And China, I guess conversely, they don't have nearly as far to walk. So if you trade 1 for 1, if one Chinese player kills a Thailand player and vice versa, the Chinese have an advantage there, even if they trade 1 for 1, because they're closer. The last point, though, that's when it gets tough. Thailand spawn right next to it.
Well, we do have the Mei for NZNR, but I'm more looking towards the Widowmaker of YJP as he goes aggressive. Now, Zalfix also went with that Symmetra, so standard play, and you already see Zalfix getting a good little look at what's going on. Now, anyone that's played this game, anyone that's played this map will be well aware of Symmetras on this map. This is almost the standard where sort of she thrives effectively.
I love how versatile China are. Lincoln's a Lucio player, but Pungay's playing Lucio now, so Lincoln can play the Genji. Now, I mean, so far, not so great, but even Jamalee's moving over towards Azaya. These guys are taking completely different roles than they did in the last map.
Well, we see the Widowmaker. I don't know whether it's going to be effective or not. We'll keep the jury out there. He managed to get the one shot and kill onto Zalfix, but as he saw, the problem is, this is one of the maps where you kind of need to go as a team, go as a unit, all move in. And that's kind of obviously splinters it straight away. And we saw the Circan, they came in, they managed to catch out. There's somebody on the point at the moment. It's being contested. We're not seeing it exactly who it is. You can see Jamalee's managed to pick himself up a kill. I can't see who's on there. They've almost got themselves a second marker. Looks like it's finally going to get cleared off. And China not having the greatest success here in the initial attack.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Thailand's defensive composition as well. This is very defensive. Okay, normally you will see a Mei in the mix here, but now adding that Symmetra as well for Zalfix is a big deal. I mean, it can be quite hard to deal with, of course, when, you know, that Symmetra now is going to circumvent the fact that it takes so long for defenders to walk back to this point. So if you take that out of the mix now, Thailand do have a lot of the odds in their favor. You can see where the teleporter is. Lincoln's just spotted it out. It's going to be his job to get rid of that teleporter, but you see that the McCree play here, Opito defending it. He's defending this teleporter, and he takes down Lincoln as he tries to pick it up.
That worked perfectly, and that whole distraction, they were putting no resources to chasing him down. They were just simply keeping the resources. They knew where he's going. There was no reason to chase him because they knew he was heading towards that teleporter, and it seemed to work out well for them. So Thailand now got themselves, what, 4 ultis built up. You can technically 5 because obviously Zalfix Symmetra's teleport is already on the ground. Whereas China seem to be struggling to stack up here. You know, we talk about Chinese aggression. There's no sign of it right now. They've got 2 minutes to go, less than, to get in here and take it down. But the Dragon Blade's ready, and there's the grabs on Search.
Yeah, Opito there with a Deadeye, gets himself a quick double kill there, and now the Blizzard is in effect. China going to struggle to even get through it, let alone survive when it does start hit. Very, very cold for them now, and Thailand hold yet again. Note that YJP switched off the Widowmaker here for a Reaper. It's now, it's a bit more standard deliver. It's a bit more a matter of, okay, we need to start fighting these guys properly. But China's sort of cycling through ults, and look at this. Zalfix still has that teleporter available. If we ever see his first person, look at the number just where his ultimate bar is, and that'll tell you how many charges is remaining. Probably quite a lot by this point.
I don't think it's been used. I
4 charges remaining.
Yeah, so there's not really been too many deaths on the side of Thailand at the moment. They seem to be keep walking through. There's the wall coming once again perfectly. The Dragon Blade goes out, but he just gets frozen in time. Now the sound barrier is going to keep him alive, but it just did enough to slow him down. He's getting absolutely nothing for that ultimate. The rest of his team are starting to pick up kills, but it's not for naught, because look at the kill feed. It is all going blue, and Thailand holds strong. There is just 45 seconds remaining for China to even cap out point A.
Yeah, not a long time at all. China used all their ultimates not to take the first point lead, but to kill the teleporter. It can't even defend itself. That's how well Thailand have set up now. So obviously they lose that one. It's a big win for them, though, that China have invested so much into dealing with the TP, because guess what? Thailand's still on this point. There's only 25 seconds remaining, and China have one good push left.
Pota's going to sit with a Deadeye, isn't he? They're going to get separated. That's going to be the Genji that comes on through. Oh no, Winston's caught out in midair. He will manage to take it away. Won't get away from that one. Kurlos takes him down. And, well, China's just attack is falling so short right now. The Reaper Copter finally comes in, though, and YJP turns it around. No nano boost required, and that may well have just been enough. He gets himself to Symmetra, and I think in overtime, it looks like Meng Mao is going to help out. They've had to cap it out, but by God, that was close. They will cap it. There's nothing China can do about it. Now they're going to be careful they don't get flipped.
Okay, Meng Mao literally just put China on his back and jumped into the fog with that one. And to be fair, the 3 kills he got were just exactly the ones he needed, right? He got rid of the McCree, he got rid of an Anna. I think even a Lucio was in the mix there as well. Perfect from him. You can't rely on that though, Lee. You cannot rely on a Reaper to get a good ult and good positioning. But YJP, against the odds, gets it done. We need not question it any further now. Let's just move ahead. China have 3 minutes and 40 seconds to take this second point. Otherwise, Thailand will know exactly what their mark is to reach.
Well, finally Zalfix switches to Lucio at least. There's no more Symmetra because now is not the time, but they're going to Lincoln once again with the Dragon Blade out. Not going to find himself anything here. Gets hooked in and taken down. That is how you deal with the Dragon Blade. It's not going to work out for them. And, well, China's attack, and this is really the big one. This is where you get the double flip quickly. Is going to get defended. And now looking at the ulti management, it's actually favorable for Thailand. They're in good defensive situation. There is, of course, the Graviton surge from Jam Lee there. Got himself set up. 12-1, is that correct? He's going to be doing. I mean, is he sitting back and not doing anything? Because the rest of the team are getting minced.
He has been sitting back. Opito, I guess. He actually has the most. He's tied with most eliminations with Zalfix, by the way. Turrets, right? If you tag someone with a turret, you're going to get credited with the elimination there. So it's very important to set up a good turret infrastructure. But off that topic, I guess, Opito has been keeping himself safe. Those Deadeyes are very hard to shut down on this map on the first point here. But China now have a few key ultimates coming into this fight. They're going to have the Primal Rage, they're going to have the Graviton Surge, Sound Barrier's there, and so is that Nano Boost. Now, it's likely Naiba will wait for YJP to be ready, and then the fight's going to start.
Yeah, there's the correct stat, 4-3, but that's going to be a froze. Jam Lee not even able to do anything on the attack there, and that's just going to cut it dead in its tracks. Lincoln gets himself one, but that is it. The rest of his team have fallen, and China struggle once again. Just 2 minutes remaining here, and look at the ulti stack for Thailand. They are in a very comfortable position right now and don't seem to be wavering on defense. They were unlucky, if anything, to lose out on point A. It looks like they're going to be holding point B here.
It's just so surreal to see Lincoln on Genji and Punga and Lucio as well. Unfortunately, the problem is it's not working out for China right now. So, you know, to achieve this state of, you know, DPS lineup, they've had to move a few roles around. Naiba has himself that Nano Boost ready. It might be he throws on the YJP and lets him go, get a bit of damage, then ult.
Yeah, he's got the ulti ready in just a second. There's the sound barrier going down, but Meng Mao's been picked off before he begins. YJP gets himself one, but the rest of his team are falling. Lincoln's gone down, Pangay's gone down, YJP gets picked off, and that was a lot of ulti management used there by China, and they've not got a great deal for it. They got themselves, what, the first marker on the board, but that will be it. Is it enough? 1 minute to go. They're going to get one, maybe two attacks at best to go for the point.
I think the Roadhog here is super interesting actually there as well for Mickey. I mean, he can be picking people out of China's lineup and taking them down here, but no Zarya. I'm not sure about that one. I guess they're not running a Tracer either way, but it is obviously with Mickey and Opito, you do have this one-hit kill potential, right? You can burst people down and put China at a man disadvantage very quickly. But that requires some things working the way they should and execution being on point. Oh, hello!
NZNR throwing out the Blizzard very early on and catching up perfectly there. Shamli and Meng Mao absolutely frozen in time. Apotu picks himself up 2 easy kills. Now 40 seconds remaining. That attack is stopped dead. China are going to back away. It is going to give them enough time there. But the Blizzard, that was all they used there. Just a simple Blizzard. And Thailand is still sitting pretty.
And Obitu now sitting on about 51% accuracy on that McCree, which is pretty damn good. That's what you're looking for at the very least here, and he's really putting damage down. That Blizzard just wrecked China. The fact that Obito just walks up and lazily flicks his Peacemaker and gets 2 kills, the pressure's on for this last push.
Well, that hook's so close there. Mickey got the whole hog ready. It's going to have to be the Dragon Blade, I feel, for Ana Boost here. That's what they're going to be looking towards. There's going to be the whole hog thrown in. That's going to be Meng Mao just bounced on the wall. Primal Rage is going to keep him alive. There's the Dragon Blade coming off. Lincoln trying to do what he can, but he's not really picking a great deal up from it. He gets Nano boosted off and then walled off, trying to delay him as much as he can. The overtime's ticking. Nobody's on the point. Just about getting in there. YJP comes in the last second. The hook flings out, doesn't manage to catch him. NZNR manages to take down one, and they're going to push on Meng Mao, the last man standing. He's going to get dropped, and it looks like Thailand will hold on in overtime. And China, all they will get is the first point.
Oh, this is excellent. This is a big development here as well. We've never seen these two teams, these two regions play against each other. We have so much more information on China, and they're expected to be so strong here. But Thailand, we talked about their unorthodox tactics in the first map and how perhaps they may have contributed to them struggling on King's Row, but here they really shone. Opito, incredible play up on that McCree. you know, IDDQD talked about it in his interview as well, talking about how positioning is so important for McCree. You don't have a self-heal, you don't have invulnerability frames. If you can't be babysat, you need to look after yourself. And it's a jungle out there. It's hard to do with McCree, but he did a great job there. Even knowing as well, that lazy flick of the Mei ult just being thrown upwards there as well from NZNR. You saw him jump down, throw the Blizzard, and then Opito's like, well, I guess this is 2 free kills for me. And that was with 40 seconds to go. China just getting picked apart, losing people that they sort of need to put this combo Venn diagram of Massacre together. They never had those elements remaining in that last minute.
And a defensive side, looking through the stats, you can see why Mei got a 16-2 there, 16 eliminations, 2 deaths. NZNR, his walls were very good, I felt, managing to catch and split the team very well. And Thailand were very quick to react to it as well. Obviously, it's all well and good you splitting the team, but if nobody reacts and pounces on those single targets, then it's no good for you. Let's see what they're going to bring to the table this time around. China's defense going to be fairly standard. No doubt about that one. This one's a pretty in the meta, I think it's safe to say. Thailand, are they going to bring anything different to the table? Obviously, we saw the Widowmaker. That really didn't work. I think that's what really cost China a lot of time. YJP, it took them, what, 3 minutes before they adjusted away from that Widowmaker? You've got to be quicker on the reactions.
I have to agree with that one as well. And I think YGP might just serve his team better just playing the Zarya now. You're right, China's team's very meta, is what we'd say, where the Mei and Reaper are generally considered to be the most robust combination of DPS, and I use that term lightly when you look at Mei, I guess, your heroes in the game right now. Thailand, going to try and work around it with a bit of a variation. It's going to be Opito and Genji. That means if there's a wall that comes up, he can get around. He can also get back to his team. You saw him just go up to there to the top right. He'll try and get into the back lines and cause some damage with the Shurikens before going in with a Dragon Blade.
Yeah, you can see he's just working down the Reinhardt, distracting as much as he can. He actually might be able to deal with Lincoln. Lincoln's getting caught out here. The Mei comes in. That's a little bit too deep by Oppo2 there. Does manage to go around the side, but now it's starting to be chaotic because they're starting to push it around. The biotic grenade goes down. Doesn't really manage to catch anyone else. Still, no one go down, but look at the hit points across the top. Everybody is low right now. It could go either way, but it's YJP that picks himself up a double along with Mickey. The Zarya's coming into action. Jamli finally manages to swing in point, but it's a fight on the point.
And Jamli going very low there as well. Almost gets bursted down, is forced to back away from that fight here. And now he needs to come back in. He does have himself the Blizzard. That in itself should be enough here to allow China to win out the fight on its own if it's even needed, but it's not. Because YJP with his 3rd or 4th kill for the fight. Sometimes, I know you don't want to focus down Zarya because she has shields and that, but if you let Zarya run rampant too long, she'll build up a lot of energy, and that particle cannon is going to be really leaving a mark.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing, the both of them getting the double kills in there, but that was chaotic, and now the problem is it can take a while to come back from the point. There's going to be the Blizzard going down. It catches them out. Thailand's going to start picking up some kills here, but Pengay manages to get himself one. YJP sacrifices another, and that's going to be a cleanup finally for China. They get themselves a little breath of fresh air. Chaotic action at its best, I think, is safe to say there, because that was a splintered attack. I think they were trying to bank on the fact that China maybe not all back from the respawn.
I also like Jamli responding. He saw the Blizzard come out from NZNR. He's like, okay, if Thailand win this fight or they kill a couple of us, they're going to advance. So Jamli sets the Blizzard just in front of Thailand's Blizzard. So, hey, even if you manage to, you know, win a fight or get a couple of kills from our frozen players, you're not going to be allowed to go any further. You will not pass.
Will not pass. Meng Mao certainly will. He goes in, gets himself the full Death Blossom off, gets himself a double kill in there. Oppo2 though on the Genji, gets himself a quick triple, and this is disastrous for China. Suddenly they lose everything. Everybody double stacked in there. I think it was a double Graviton Surge on top of each other. Tell lie, YJP still got it. His in there. It was Thailand that pulled it out, and they are going to capture out this first point.
Yeah, Opito now as well. His cleanup crew, that's pretty much what's needed now. It's a desperation Graviton Surge. Yeah. No one's going to be caught in that one. It's just not going to happen. YJP might switch here. I kind of would like him not to switch, if I'm honest, and stay with Zarya. Right, so in that event, perhaps you want to hold the Graviton Surge just in case Thailand try and back cap you. And by that I mean really push very China, should I say, really if they want to push aggressively towards the next point. But no, it's not going to be the case.
Mickey, the only one that didn't make it. Typical. The camera goes on, it's the only man that doesn't make it, but it is going to be trying to fast cap. They're going to try and get around the side there, but Kurlos got picked off right at the start. They've got a sound barrier in there, but without Kurlos, it's going to be a little hard. No biotic grenades to keep them topped off. And you can see China, they're back in position. Oppo2, it's a bit of a 1-for-1 trade so far. Meng Mao very low. Jamli gets in there. There's the Blizzard. Is it going to be enough? Oppo2 gets himself a double NCR now. Gets himself the shot in the back, and they should be able to cap out the point. They get themselves one. Lincoln's still in there. there along with Nai. Nai, you mentioned trying to keep them away, but he's been pushed off the point. They get themselves the first marker. Can they get more?
Well, we'll have to see. Opportu off towards the side. He doesn't have the Dragon Blade. It was already used, but Thailand have managed to make so much progress on this point now. 3 players in China are forced to bleed in and go 1 for 1. Opportu in a great position to backstab damage, but the rest of his team seems to be absent. Now he jumps through, dashes through, no reset, but there's Mickey and Zalfix now. It's going to be the Lucio and Zaya getting kills, and this might be ugly for China. Graviton comes out here. China are going to be stuck together. Another sound barrier for Zalfix. Second time in this fight he's had that one available. China can't even get to the point, and there's another Blizzard for NZNR.
And it looks like they're going to get it. There's just one little bit left. They just need to clear them off. It's going to be Mengmao that gets in there. Jamli comes out. There's a counter Blizzard from China. Is that going to be enough? The spawns come out. They force them off the point. And just with a fraction to go, it looks like Thailand might well have just been cleared off the point. Jamli in there. But Opportu comes around. Gets himself a Dragon Blade. Gets himself the second. Can he clear the whole team off? China are in trouble. They have to get somebody on the point right now. You've got the one in the corner frozen up. The second he clears off, is he going to be taken down?
Yes,
just
eventually.
about.
Well, he's going to have to back away, but that's the problem now. Thailand need to be careful because China have actually had a lot of time. They got a lot of time bought for them right in that fight. Graviton Surge comes out into the back though, and NZNR though, doing work, gets himself 2 kills. Guess what? His next Blizzard might not be that far away if he keeps hitting so hard. Opportu, this whole fight hasn't been touched. He's been alive as soon as Thailand started. That's going to be it though. Thailand finally take it away. They give us a very exciting conclusion to that game. There are a lot of reasons why that got to where it was, but YJP maybe could have held that Graviton Surge till later on. Not the main issue though. Blizzard is pretty strongly, and it's pretty easy to have a lot of. Very chaotic fight, but that Earth Shadow right towards the end there, that was from KOKFC. We just saw Opportu getting kills with the Dragon Blade, but KOKFC were the ones that knocked them down and made them vulnerable. That was very impressive.
There's a couple of ironic moments also leading into the B cap. Firstly, Kurlos got taken down right at the beginning of that fight, so they didn't have Anna to begin with. But Mickey, he missed that wall, but actually worked in his favor. Obviously, all 6 members were meant to come from that left-hand side, so he ended up going through the front door. Right. Completely, everybody swung their attention. Oh, they're all coming from the left-hand side. And he comes in the back, gets himself the free damage down, right-clicking away with a Zaya as you can, putting the free shields down. And before they even noticed it, he'd got a Graviton Surge off.
The problem, well, I mean, the tricky part when you're in China's position, right? You've been shifted off the point. Now you're spawning in 1 by 1 at different times, and you need to stall or try and push Thailand off the point. You don't have the leisure of grouping up, firstly. You also don't have the leisure of sort of picking your target. You can't go, okay, I'm going to come back to this point, and then I'm going to go straight for their Genji. It's not really an option, because what you need to do first is try and stay alive, stall the game out a little bit longer, try and buy some time, which Jamli did. You saw him up in the corner. May can sort of use the ice block and put an ice wall up in front, tuck yourself in a corner and stall the point out there. But Zalfix had 2 sound barriers in that fight. That's and that's the thing. You need to do a lot of damage to get those sound barriers, right? Healing is great, but if you're just healing, even if people are taking damage, it still takes a fair while to get that. So credit to him. We've seen a lot more of his Symmetra so far, but his Lucio play was very, very good on that last point. And it's what enabled Thailand to weather the storm, as China were literally throwing themselves at them, trying to get them off that point.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you can look at the stats, obviously, throughout these guys. Opportu, obviously, on the Genji on the Dragon Blade, pretty much because he was on Dragon Blade constantly throughout that. Involved in 39 eliminations. Only had 6 deaths. 16,000 damage. Way ahead of anyone else. Certainly doing great. Obviously, you got Zalfix alongside him as well, throwing out the shields. You'd expect a Zaya to stay alive for a long time. You highlighted him, obviously, 31 eliminations and just the 4 deaths throughout. So fantastic play from those guys. I should also probably mention Mickey on Zaya, sorry. Zalfix was on Lucio, of course. Mickey on Zaya, 38 eliminations and 4. That just shows how strong a unit they are. We obviously talked about the fact that they are a single team, and I think it showed there. They stuck themselves together well as a team. So, Mitch, we move on to map number 3. Lijiang Tower.
Lijiang Tower, which is very interesting for me now, because we've kind of seen both these 2 teams showcased in different payloads, now moving over towards Control, which is generally a bit more of a brawl-focused game type, which is great, in my opinion, for Thailand, who seem to be very, very good at playing these mentally taxing scenarios where you need to be, you know, at high APM or actions per minute for a long period of time, right? Opportu, for example, you don't stay alive and do so much damage just by, you know, hanging around and sort of just observing. You need to be in and out of the fight, dashing in, throwing shurikens, staying alive most importantly. So this will be very interesting now. As Thailand, in terms of their lineup, Opportu showing us quite a lot of depth to his hero pool. He's been the one that's switching between DPS, now going over towards a Reaper.
And if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, you obviously may have seen throughout it, Kings Row is what's known as a hybrid map. Obviously, you capture the payload and you move it along through the points. Then we moved on to an assault map. That was a simple case of capturing point A and B. Now, this is called a control map. All you got to do, simple. There's a point in the middle. In this case, Night Market. You will capture that. You can see the big defense sign on your screen. It will unlock in 25 seconds, and it is simply hold on as long as you can until you hit the 100% marker. And here we go.
Good to see Jamli back on McCree as well. That's kind of what he's known for over in China from IGI. So let's see what he can do with that though now, as both these teams sort of set up in the middle of the map. It's kind of the agreed way to play Night Market. You start here and then you transition to the point. But Mengmao goes down first. Oputo has actually been let off the leash a little bit there, getting 2 kills. That's going to at the very least force China back. And Oputo gets a 3rd. No one's responding to this Reaper right now. For whatever reason, Jamli couldn't find him amongst the mix and deal with him. Oputo was the one that got to him. McCree should dominate at that sort of medium to long range area, especially against a Reaper.
I think he had to have used the buildings on the left. It may have just flanked around. I don't know how it worked out, but you can see 5 eliminations, not a single death yet, because he managed to just run through the entire Chinese team. And that's a precious situation. Now, China, as a nation in esports, generally gets in on themselves if they lose a map. Now, this is a little worry, I feel, for China fans out there, because it happened time and time again across multiple games, and I'm going to keep my eye on their expressions and their body language as we go through this one, because at the moment, Thailand are looking pretty dominant here on the first control map.
Oputo all over the scoreboard right now. 10 eliminations, 0 deaths. He's been involved in pretty much all of this fighting. Now that Thailand have the point, China can't just go to the point and retake it. They have to fight Thailand in the middle of the map first, then win, then get to the point. That's a heck of a lot to do. Now, Oputo, a little bit
that was
wishful
weird
there. I don't think he was, don't know if he was hoping for maybe his iron shield or something a bit more.
I think he thought
didn't even have a nano boost.
Yeah, he dropped down and there was only one person there. I think he was expecting, like, probably maybe have the signal that they're all coming around, but that put whole of Thailand in a real tricky situation. There's a good Deadeye. He is going to get caught out by the Blizzard though, but there's going to be no follow-up. Pange gets himself a quick double and the point will flip over to China. So 64% was the marker that Thailand reached there. 65 just it ticks in the end there. NZNR just throwing himself off to get the respawn with the rest of his team. Now, how will China do? So a questionable decision there from Apotu. He was doing very well. They tried a risky ulti play. Now they're going to have to turn it around in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what really hurt them, I guess. Jamli had a great spot for Deadeye there, and it followed up well with Pange. But now Oputo again is going to enter the fight from an off angle here, try and sneak in. He's got the sound barrier on him now as well, as he's looking to try and get up close and personal with Pange, but he survives. Pange is still alive. Somehow Mengmao now going to reciprocate, and even then some more. He's going to up the ante on Oputo, getting himself 2 kills going in with a Death Blossom, and Jamli and Pange finish off the fight for China. 35% and counting here. Thailand will need to retake after this next fight.
So, plenty of time to go. No time for panic. This is a 5-map extravaganza, the first of 3 here. And that's going to be an Earth Shatter that's not going to catch too many, but it does the job. Pange going wild with the hammer, gets himself a quick double. And the rest of Thailand are forced to scurry back into their spawn. China will have themselves the advantage in this next fight. They will have the percentage ticking in their favor, but Apotu will have himself the Death Blossom ready and waiting to go along with Kurlos, so expect to see that stack ulti working.
Yeah, Jamli looking at his setup now. This is a Deadeye position, right? He's going to stay safe. He's not going to do a lot of damage with left clicks, but now China has to respect this, or at least Thailand does. Wall's going to come up, going to make it hard for Jamli to get the damage done here, but at least into the backline, Mengmao does dive. Jamli gets frozen up and then charged out by KFC, and Aputo has a good opportunity to use his Death Blossom, but he needs China to be all sort of stuck together. He'll satisfy himself for now, going for Naiba and the supports in the backline. To be fair, even Pange has to respect this.
Yeah, Apotu backs away, the rest of his team in position, so that actually worked out quite well for them. Remember Kurlos, who's he nano boosted? He didn't go for Apotu, so I'm not too sure. Didn't see who he managed to nano boost down. Looked like the Zaya off the side there, I think it was. Managed to get in there. Yes, it was. It was Mickey that he managed to nano boost, so I'm not too sure on that one, but either way, it hasn't worked for them, and China will keep hold of the point.
China coming back through there. You see Thailand managed just to get 3 out of 6 kills and then sort of rotate through, but that worked out quite nicely. But if Pange was very well involved in that one. He had a nano boost of his own. That's how you deal with a Tracer, though. NZNR just going to go face-to-face with the Peacemaker, and Jamli starts fights and also finishes them. That was the desperation attempt for Thailand. They possibly could have actually gone a little bit slower about this one, but now there's no time. All they're going to do is try and keep going at this point. Now, if Kurlot's going to be knocked aside, Graviton used on the outside, there's no chance for Thailand to come back into this one, and the first round will go to China.
So Night Market goes across to the Chinese team. Thailand currently at 1 apiece. And in game, of course, we are 1-0. It is a best of 5 on Lijiang Tower to decide the outcome of this game in Group C. Very dramatic music to go across their faces, I feel there.
Absolutely. Someone has scored a basket there as well, thankfully. Look, I've got to say as well, Jamli, I'm glad to see him on this McCree. I did mention it earlier on here. This is what he's known for. He's very, very good at it. And you can see that how, if Jamli is given space to work, what he can do with it. He was actually hitting about 64% of his shots in that game. Now, that's very, very high. Yeah. Even for McCree pros, normally it's like between 46 and 56. That's like, okay, solid. This guy's been above and beyond that. So look to see him sort of do a bit more now in his closer quarters on Garden. Okay, fair enough to see the Reaper come out, but YJP is back on the Pharah, as is NZNR.
Well, Potu's made the switch, of course. He's now on the McCree, was on the Reaper in the previous map, so we'll see how his hit scan works there. But Kurlos managing to take down YJP, and that's probably going to give them the point here. Thailand should be capping it out. Will unlock in 3 seconds' time, and it looks like China are already backing up. They have to wait for that respawn. So we'll see how the Pharah works out for both these teams.
Well, now China have to go in from the right side here. It's very, very hard to challenge the bridge when the enemy team has control of the point. Jamli goes down to NZNR, which is kind of interesting to see the McCree being on that side of the kill feed in that case. But that's not a good start for China. They are going to have to, again, redouble their efforts and regroup here. Losing that McCree so early, not good.
Not good, but China are not really forcing the issue. They're not able to get in around that. With Jamli down. Now he's coming back from spawn, but you already saw NZNR managing to land the rockets down. They're going to clump themselves up, and the barrage is not too far away, you know. This might backfire on them. Gets a little knock away. The shield manages to keep them sound. Gets around the side. Gets a little flanker. Now the barrage is ready and waiting to go. He's going to back himself away and just blast it in the face of Jamli. No chance there. And that will be Thailand keeping them at bay.
Yeah, that's a panic button from NZNR. He's like, no, need to deal with that McCree now. But hey, he got more than he bargained for there. We saw the Opito was able to get involved with some of those kills as well as McCree offside. So Thailand still holds this point. Now you're getting a little bit stressed as China. You don't have a huge bank of ultimates to work with. You do at least have the nano boost, but you're going to have to hope that that really works out. It's probably going to have to be Pungay to receive this one, given this team composition.
Yeah, just 2-3 failed attacks, and suddenly you're looking at a 60% plus, and they're going to try and go around the backside once again, but this time around they're going to be facing an Earth Shatter from KOKFC. You can see there's the Graviton Surge now ready to go from Mickey as well. He's got himself charged up to 80%, and they're still taking hits. They're taking rockets. This is less than ideal for China as they try and push around. YJP's going to try and be the flanking man. He's got himself the barrage. He tries to push around there. Doesn't get the knockoff. Wanted the concussive blast to knock the Ana off the bridge. It doesn't work out, but Jamli's managed to find NZNR.
There's still a good opening to this fight here for China now. They actually retake the point. Thailand try and disengage, but as they disengage, they're now being cut down one by one. You're better off just dying. The whole team straight away. You can see them trying to jump off the edge now because they backed away from China for whatever reason, didn't want to fight, maybe just wanted to build an ult advantage, or even more than that, draw ultimates out of China so Thailand can come back. If they get the point one more time, they're pretty much going to win the round. They didn't get to draw much out of China. That's kind of the problem. So now they've got to go head-to-head, 3 ults versus 3 ults into this next fight.
Ballsy play. They're running up against the Graviton Surge and a barrage, so that combo is certainly available, and it will be available on both sides, actually. They're going to try and use the advantage and remove the Pharah from the scheme, but there's going to be the barrage, there's going to be the Graviton Surge, but it is going to be countered by the sound barrier. Only gets himself a double. He got the Zaya down in there, and it will stop the attack from Thailand down. KOKFC is going to get cleared off the point, and China will hold on.
Yeah, you're still happy with that. You know, sound barrier is good. Not really good when you've got a barrage and they're all being held together. So now Jamli as well, getting his hands a little bit dirtier on the point. Flash comes in to deal with Kurlos. Now, he has to be careful. Opito was going to try and pick him up here. Needs to be careful how far out he peeps. But of course, he'll be able to get a good amount of information now as Thailand make their move. China have made 60% up on this capture progress, which is great. And they have an Earth Shatter in Pungay's hands, which can win the fight, especially when KOKFC is a long way away from his here.
A nano boost from Naibe could be crucial. Oh, some sniping shots on NZNR. Look at his health. He's just got 2 blips left. Absolutely picked up before he even leaves his spawn point there from Naibe. So really working him down. There's going to be the nano boost.
Perfect.
Uh-oh, that's going to be Reinhardt picking him off. He's going to get charged out of the way, taken all the way back to the spawn point. So Thailand do manage to remove him, but Well, Pungay will go down, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team, job done. 89% and counting. China suddenly in the ascendancy here.
They've got big ults to work with now. Deadeye's going to come through just to try and zone away. Jamli's trying to back away. He's got a right hand in his face, though. Flash comes down. KOKFC falls. And now Jamli gets sleep darted. Very nicely done there. But it's not going to be enough. Kelos tries to put the man to sleep. But again, he's got a bit of teammates to help him out there. It's going to be Mengmao and YGP chiming in over the fight. And they will hold this point. Thailand looked good at the start of that round lead, but China assert their dominance late again.
I'd love to look back and see exactly what their thinking was, because they weren't really attacked on the site. They weren't really pushed off the site. They kind of chose to back away from the site, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, because they had the Graviton Surge, they had the barrage that were available, yet they backed away.
Yeah, I mean, whether they sort of disengage that fight or forced to a knockback or whatever, the point is that Thailand gave up the point without inducing ultimates to be spent from China, right? China didn't have to spend any ultimates at all. And that's huge on maps like these control maps, where those ultimates and the balance of those ultimates actually decide the outcome of fights. If you're going to allow the point to be taken away, don't spend ultimates if you know you've already lost the fight. That's the first one. And secondly, make it costly for the enemy team, so you know on the retake you'll have even more control than you did before.
Well, Night Market and Garden go in the way of China. They are 2-0 up and 1 round away from taking this game. 2-1 over Thailand. And here we are on Command Center, and already, well, it's looking pretty good for Thailand. It started off well for them on all 3 maps so far. The question is, can they hold it? It's going to unlock in a moment. They're going to cap it out, and it will be China once again that are forced to go for the retake.
All right, so ZP brought it up earlier on as well. The reason why we're not seeing Jamli on the McCree is that a lot of players feel that sort of control center is a little bit better for Reaper. McCree, I mean, you can close the gap on McCree much easier on this map than some others, like, I guess, Night Market, for example. Oh, the wall comes up, and Pungay's able to just cheat death and get away from the charge. And now Jamli's looking for the backline here. Let's see if this Reaper can make an impact. Well, no. Hook comes in. Oputo really nasty on the execute there. 2 kills for him in that fight. Again, featuring heavily on the scoreboard.
And we've seen nice adjustments from Oputo. Bearing in mind, he was a McCree over on the first map. Now he's been on the Reaper, and now he's on the
played
Roadhog.
Genji as well on Hanamura.
Yeah, played Genji as well. So clearly a jack of all trades, 20 kills and 8 deaths to his favor so far. But NZNR sitting on that Blizzard, that's going to be useful for Thailand. This is a very enclosed space, and that Blizzard can be crucial, along with Kurlos, of course, with the Nano Boost.
Those ultimates, like you said, Lee, are going to be crucial in this fight.
Okay.
That Blizzard is one of
Bastion for a moment now. I was like, woo!
I've seen it happen once in China. Really didn't work out well. We'll leave that for another time, but this Blizzard's going to be massive. Wall comes up. They're going to try and isolate Pungay now as well. Easy as that. Then the Blizzard comes in. You've got a 6v5 with the Blizzard. You're definitely going to win this fight out. This is Thailand playing it very cleverly here off the back of the ultimates they've built up. And Lee, they've still got 3.
Yeah.
They can hold off for longer.
Very good ulti management there. Resources being perfectly used and perfectly played by NZNR there. He's walled it off a couple of times now, absolutely separating Pungay from the rest of his team, and it's worked out perfectly for him this time around, and they have to. This is the do or die time now for Thailand, of course. Mickey got himself that Graviton Surge. Look out for that one, of course, the Roadhog with the whole hog to force them back. But they're going to try and drop in from around the middle here. They're going to try multiple angles. Jamli going to go in, boosted up by the Nano Boost. Is it going to be enough? Lincoln comes in. He gets himself the double kill, picking up the pieces, I feel, from Jamli there. But it looks like China may well have just done enough to force them off at 97%.
Yeah, Jamli just surviving that one there as well. That was pretty rough. He gets a second kill off the back as Oputo falls down. Look, that's what happens when you actually send a Reaper into a fight without a Zarya shield. Now, that whole hog coming out for Oputo would have burnt down any Zarya shield that was on Jamli after a while, but it probably would have been enough. Jamli could have gotten at least the kill on the Ana. Doesn't matter, but this is why I'm saying that Reaper Copter combo that we talk about does need a little bit of, you know, excess ults to facilitate. Graviton going to come in, though.
Kill all 5 people, I think maybe 6. There's going to be a pulse bomb on top of it! And YJP says, thank you very much. I will fill the kill feed with my name. Oputo, the last man standing, just going to let him die slowly. And that's actually going to buy China quite a bit of time. They just used simply 2 ultis, that's all that was required, and it will buy them a time, of course. They can't afford to lose a single fight, so they have to keep this going for around about 3 or 4 fights running.
Well, let's see if it's going to work out.
Good.
That's nice work with the icicles there from NZNR. Gets himself 2 kills. That's a huge opening, and now that's going to force the ultimate out for Pungay there. Earthshatter is going to be big, though. Catches 2 up. KOKFC is dashed aside. Pungay finds NZNR as well, but now Opito coming with a response. He's shielded up for a short while, but now he needs to find this Lucio on the point. Needs to deal with this now so they can retake it. Thailand in a good position to flip it back here at China now. They're going to be forced into full desperate stall mode.
How on earth did that happen? I just don't even know. YJP's back on point. He's trying to keep them at bay, but he's just going to get caught off. Gets himself the pulse bomb down there. Oh, a quick blast to the face of Jam Lee. Says thank you very much. They're coming in splintered now one by one. They're getting picked off, and Thailand have this one in the bag. The whole hog going to blast them away. And I just don't understand. That was simply NZNR catching with the icicles, caught out both Jam Lee and YJP. And suddenly it was like, bang, your DPS players are gone. Just coming back from that simple spawn. Whether they've just come too aggressive, overly aggressive, I don't know. It's obviously happened a number of times, but it's 2-1 nonetheless.
The thing is as well, when you're facing up against a Roadhog, you do need to be obviously very careful of the hook. And what I mean is that if you want to set up from 2 different angles on a map like this, right, where in Control Center you could work in from the right and the middle, one of these arms of your team, one of these pincer arms is going to be without a Reinhardt. Guess what? That means you're very vulnerable to Roadhog hooks. Opito only had about a 33% hook accuracy, but he was throwing out a ridiculous amount of them, and that's allowing him to get these early picks in the fights. And then if a Reaper gets up in his face like he did just then, one shot to the breadbasket, it's an easy kill with Roadhog at close range.
Very elegantly phrased there. Group D is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Overwatch World Cup. If you've just joined us, you've missed off some fantastic games, some real eye-openers throughout the world, of course, where all the teams attended, and we are back once again on the Garden to see how it's going to work out. Currently 2-1 here on Lijiang Tower for the decider.
Well, sorry, there's the hook I was telling you about, and YJP is going to fall foul of it there. It's very easy to get those kills when they're right in your face, of course. That's where the shotgun excels. Also, bit of a side note as well, if Opito does turn to the right after hooking, it's because he's just hooked a lighter target that sometimes don't get pulled as close as he would like. And stepping to the right and actually moving slightly in the right direction after hitting a hook will pull that target closer. A little bit of a trick for you Roadhog players out there.
Yeah, a little cheeky. It's almost like a flick shot for a hog.
But you don't want to move before the hook and you'll miss it. It's a bit weird, but if you get it right, it's nice.
Okay, China. Well, it seems a repeatable situation many times. They are on the retake. Once again, they're going to have to push in, but this time it might well work out for them. Pangay gets in there. YJP comes around the side, and suddenly a sleep dart on Pangay is not enough to null the Chinese defenses, and they're going to push on through. Graviton Surge used now.
That's okay. I'll tell you why in a second here as well. As Thailand can sort of work around the side of this one. Essentially, yeah, 40% already, and then Mickey comes back in. So not only does it buy time on the point, but it buys time for reinforcements. China flip it back, but now Thailand actually have a strong position where China have to filter through across the bridge, and it's scary. It's dangerous when the hook's coming in. Jam Lee going to get pulled up for dinner, and it's as easy as that.
Opito has really impressed me in this game so far. He's going to get himself another there. That shield is not going to handle the strength of the whole hog, and it is going to be Thailand that will flip it back. So this time it works out well for them, but look at the ulti stack for China. They're still in a good position to go for the retake once again.
I want to point out as well that China actually as a team have about 25% more healing for their team than Thailand do as well. That makes a big deal over these maps. When you're doing similar damage, that healing's important. And look, that's as simple as that, right? Roadhog is very good in this position. You need to respect him. You need to try and remove him. A sleep dart is not a bad way to deal with Opito in this position. It gives you a window to just go and charge the bridge. But this is why it sucks to play from behind against a Roadhog on this map.
Yeah, well, that one hook bought them 10%. It bought them 10% on that counter. YJP going down. Of course, they have full 6 ulti charge coming into this fight, whereas Thailand have 1. It's going to be a very tricky fight for Thailand to win.
Well, Opito backing away now as well. The Graviton comes in, but he's free of it now. Let's see what damage he can do around the side. Hook into Pangay. He can't get close enough. The Reinhardt, I guess, being prevented from getting involved in the battle and getting his hands dirty. But still, Jam Lee and Nengmao, the damage dealers, have managed to deal with most of Thailand in that fight, and they will be able to clean it up here. But it's getting very close, and this point being kept contested for so long here by, I believe it was Mickey. 98% to 17 is what that's given us.
Lose a simple fight and it's over, but Thailand lost this at, what, 80% last time? Actually, I think it was 99% last time on Garden. And they could not retake it. They could not get it back from China. China needed all 6 ultis to do it. Let's see what Thailand can do. They're going to have themselves, what, 5 ultis coming back into this next fight, I feel. As they stack it out, they're already sneakily capping it around the back while this fight happens. Mickey comes in, gets himself a triple, make it 5! And Mickey goes huge! China get decimated, and Thailand will take the round.
That's what you need. Just the Zarya coming in there. Perfect use of the Graviton Surge. Like you said, Lee, even despite that, Thailand were working their way in around the side. They even had a Blizzard available to use later on in that fight. Good ultimate management pays dividends here on maps like these. And now we're going to be going to a 5th to decide not just this 3rd map, but the entire series. And the realization of that now, you can see it almost occurring to Thailand. We might just be able to take down China here, a team that we feared and respected for a long time and been waiting to play. And for China, this will be a disappointing result for them, given that, I mean, there's so much on their shoulders, there's so much self-belief for them and also from their fans. They don't want to fall at this hurdle, otherwise their qualification from the group itself is going to be in question.
They were big favourites for the group, no doubt about it. France and Singapore obviously in the group alongside. I'm going to be watching this one with bated breath and wondering which way this could fall, because it would certainly carve the group wide open. Everybody almost pigeonholed China and the top slate in this group. So here we go. It's command center. It is going to be all or nothing for China and Thailand. The hook goes straight through, but it doesn't net to kill.
A good response from YJP to get the shield up here now. Both teams are jockeying back and forth. Those Reinhardt shields are very important. Wapato again gets another hook in. YJP again the target. Still, he's alive. It's almost as if he's trying to focus down that Zarya. So far hasn't got it, but the 3rd hook is going to do the job. That's 100%, 3 for 3 for Opito, and he finally gets his kill. However, he's losing teammates.
Yeah, the rest of his team not able to get them kills. They're going to back away from this one. It's not going to work out, and that's the first time in this Lijiang series that China have taken the point first across all 5 maps. So, is that a good sign? Is that an omen? Who knows?
Well, hook again coming straight through. Meng Mao now needs to follow up on the fact that Pungay got hooked, but Zalfik's actually the one to get the kill. Now, Meng Mao backing away, realizes he needs to stay with the rest of his team, and that Reinhardt shield is still an issue. Mickey coming forward. He's charged up and ready to go, and Opito giving it the whole hog. Even a sound barrier is going to be wasted in the face of Thailand pushing forward now. They will retake this point. The hook as well. Opito really just doesn't miss many of these at all.
He is super accurate, you know, for a player so versatile. This is what we see. He's played 5 heroes throughout this series already, and well, his hog seems to be one of the best. Who knows? It seems to be working out well for him. The wall goes down, and that's going to buy themselves a bunch of time. The Blizzard is ready and waiting to go from NZNR, but there's another hook. Goodbye, Meng Mao. You're not going to play in this game. It's a bit of a wasted Blizzard, perhaps, potentially there, but it buys him enough time. He gets himself another couple of kills, and finally, he misses a hook. Actually, no, he got Naibe with it. It killed him. It didn't hook him in.
That's not a wasted hook in this scenario, because Meng Mao had Death Blossom available. Naiba had also his nano boost. But the fact that Meng Mao got hooked in with ult means that Naiba was forced to try and nano boost someone else, who I believe was Pungay. So China are wasting ults and using them in not optimal scenarios because Opito is finding the right targets to pick out.
Oh, that's a good Graviton Surge, but it's answered back and forth. Oh! Look at that! Jamli gets himself boosted up in the air and gets himself a quick Deadeye. That had to have been what boosted him up there.
What, had to get up on the top platform?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could have walked. There could have been a wall being thrown up there as well, I believe, as well.
But there's no Mei. There's no Mei. I didn't know what boosted him up. I didn't know whether there's a Graviton Surge sucking him up. I don't know, maybe. But either way, he suddenly rises the platform. Actually, yes, of course, it could have been probably NZNR. Oh, wow. So NZNR's wall himself actually screwed them. Either way, China capped the point, 54% and counting. And now Pangay has himself his ulti ready. He's boosted up, and that is not going to be an Ana that's going to last long. Kurlos batted down.
Yeah, even Opito couldn't save his teammate there as well with the whole hog. Wasn't quite enough. Oh, someone's going for a long charge off a short flank. Both of them have fallen here. If you're China, it's okay to sacrifice and trade 1 for 1. I mean, not the ideal target. And you see Thailand now trying to respond. They're trying to punish this move by throwing the Blizzard down. Now NZNR just going to go to the point on his own. There's no one there even to see this. It's unlikely he'll be able to take this in its entirety before Meng Mao can contest, but that's a weird passage of play.
The rest of his team are back though. They're all coming back around the side. And this has actually made it a really awkward situation. The wall goes down, segregates the team. Meng Mao gets himself quickly healed up there by Biotic Grenade, and this has actually caused a really tricky scene. Meng Mao though, there's the sound barrier coming down. China should get control of the situation now because there isn't a great ulti resource coming out from Thailand, and this may well be enough to take it. 99% and done for China. They will take the series 2-1, but by God were they tested by Thailand.
What a fantastic way for this to go down to the wire as well. And perhaps it wasn't Omen Lee that China finally on that last stage of Lijiang Tower took the point first, and despite losing it at 1 or 2 occasions, managed to re-establish their dominance. You saw, you know, it was getting very tight. That situation where we did see the mutual Graviton Surge being used could have gone either way, but I mean, there you have it. China do manage to get through, but we've seen that they can bleed.
Absolutely. That was not an easy game for China, and you can see, I think, almost relief on their faces there as they're just breathing a sigh. So, who is going to challenge them? Who knows? What do we take from that one? Of course, the desk are ready and waiting to see how take us through the analyst for that segment.
If you want to bring that one up and talk about the
Thank you so much, G-Man. Guys, we have... we're still analyzing.
We're so excited about that match.
We were very excited.
That was great. We saved up a whole bunch of replays to talk through with you guys, and right off the bat, I mean, we're gonna go all the way back to Hanamura. Forget Kings Row. Are we even going to Kings Row?
Well, Symmetra was cool on Kings Row. I
It
enjoyed that.
It was very cool.
It was cool to see someone try to play Symmetra on point 2 on Kings Row, but it was overshadowed by the rest of the match, really.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not.
Kings Row, we're going to appreciate you. We'll set it aside. Check out the VODs later, guys. But let's dive right into Hanamura because this was spectacular.
It was, and we're going to talk here as we go into a replay with the Mei player NZNR from the side of Thailand, and it shows really not only... Okay, well, we're just going to go right into it right here.
Go.
Yeah.
I did want to pause, but watch. What's important here is to watch the turret placement and basically slowing the nano boosted Reaper as he comes in, followed by the freeze, followed by the ice block, followed by the wall. There's so many ways that we have in Overwatch to stop these nano boosted Reapers, but it usually requires a chain of crowd control abilities. And in this case, you could see by staggering the Symmetra turrets along the path, you provided the continuous CC combined with the Mei, and it proved to be sort of a 1.5 player hold on the Reaper and really showed how well this team is used to playing the Symmetra and the Mei together on that defense. And that's not something you can really practice for, so it's understandable that China was probably a bit thrown considering most teams would not utilize that strategy. But if you can do it well, you can execute, it can be effective.
Yeah, it's been amazing watching the evolution of Symmetra turret placements. It's not something we get to see acted out too much through professional play, but really some hot tips there for you guys playing at home on Hanamura.
Well, yeah, I mean, putting the turrets like right underneath the edge of that wooden platform where it drops down just a little bit, that's the place to put them on Hanamura. And, you know, once you get past that as the offense, then there's not really any turrets on the point, so it's easy to take. But you can be held at that doorway for a long time.
Absolutely.
And we have to kind of mention the fact that Thailand was really slow to adapt over the course of the entire series, but we really saw it shine when it went to Hanamura and especially Lijiang Tower, where they finally figured out like the sweet spot. On Lijiang Tower, they really struggled holding on to the point, or retaking it, most importantly, once they lost the point. Like originally, they take the point on the first go. I think 4 out of the 5 times they actually did that. But when it came actually down to the ultimates coming back in, they really struggled in synchronizing ultimates correctly. And we also had maybe the same kind of bit for the other side, for China, when it came to Lijiang Tower at the end, where there was 6 ultimates up for them compared to 1. And it was just a sound barrier out of Thailand, and yet they were still able to bait out all 6 ultimates, and well, obviously lost the fight, but they came back in with 5 themselves. I think that's a replay we're actually going to be showing here in a few seconds.
We can pull it up right now. So let's take a look at that one because, China won this map, but we're showing a lot of the Thai replays because there were special moments here from Thailand.
Yeah, and this is really difficult to do, like to hit anyone with an Ana with a sleep dart, especially when you have a Reaper in your face and he's being sped up by Lincoln. We can go ahead and play this one out a little bit just to see how important this was, because we're going to have Zalfix go down from this one, but with 6 ultimates left ready to go, somehow they're still able to maintain the control of this one. You can see him come off to the side. YGP has already fallen, actually killing himself. The Death Blossom coming in there as well eliminates that one, but to bait out 6 ultimates, this is something in the high level of competitive Overwatch that you have to really talk about. You have to micromanage your ultimate usage. Get the max amount of value for the least amount of ultimates. And China right there was just throwing everything they had to somehow win that fight.
Well, especially in control maps, too. I mean, it becomes a lot of time this big like ebb and flow of who's got the ults, and the less you can use, the more conservative your team can be about it, the more you can kind of survive, not just the fight you need to take the point, but also the fights you need to hold the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the comeback there was really good, too. When we saw them just respond to losing 6 ultimates, there were 5 ults coming up from Thailand. It made it very easy for them to retake and actually finish things off.
Yeah, we see some of that ultimate usage right here. Oh, China.
Oh, man, Meng Mao was so good on that Reaper on so much of this series, too. And I want to, even though we're not seeing it at the moment, well, we are seeing Oputo on the Roadhog, but his hooks towards the end of the series were so good and definitely something that other teams in this tournament need to be aware of.
And this Mei ultimate as well. Like, to come up in the midst of the fight, to pop that down, to get 3 freezes onto the enemy team, and then able to turn that fight around was really well done. But eventually, I think Thailand took that point by just kind of sneaking a Mei around the corner. Yeah. There's a lot of Mei play, actually, throughout this entire series. And we saw, actually, some really high-level Mei play out of the teams. It's really hard to position yourself correctly, I guess, with a Blizzard, especially when there's going to be 2 on the ground next to each other. But I feel like, again, Thailand really adapted and really proved that they're a strong team.
And I haven't been to Minnesota for a while, but I felt a little taste to home with the amount of Blizzards in that series.
Well, I don't know how many Japanese blizzards you've encountered, Doa, but there were so many blizzards in Japan on this map. And I love the placement of the Symmetra, because, again, it was about the placement of the teleporter and the fact that they had the McCree defending. The Genji from Team China got back there, but instantly flashbang taken out, a little bit of bait.
And then so many great, like, small moments. Like, we have this long train of replays here because there's just these little moments of brilliance. May tossing her Blizzard up onto that 2nd level as she fell. These great plays here by Oputo and Genji. You know, which players really stood out to you on each team?
Well, NZNR right here on this Pharah. I mean, look for the rocket direct tick coming up in a minute right about now-ish. There we go.
Bam!
That's not bad.
We screamed on the desk when we saw that happen, too, because it was so well done. Yeah, NZNR, fantastic Pharah, but Oputo, for me, on Thailand, showing he can play not only hit scan with the Roadhog and the McCree, but he can flex over to a Genji.
Yeah, I think that's the surprising thing here is Oputo's versatility and the fact that he was so incredibly accurate throughout this entire match. I mean, very impressive play overall.
Well, you can tell that was a bit
unfortunate from NCNR. Unfortunate while boosting people
wall, yeah.
into the line of fire there for the Deadeye.
He was playing for Team China on that one, I think. Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about us yelling on the desk at moments of excitement. No team has been as loud as Thailand was behind us.
Wow, super loud, yeah. And we were wearing headsets the whole time, man.
Yeah, I mean, and the best was they would celebrate. You know, a lot of teams, they're very focused in the game, but they were just having a great time.
They actually cheered over a basketball going into the hoop when they were in spawn one time. Like, that's how excited they were.
We were like, whoa, what's happening? All right, let's check out a group update, figure out where we are in the day. We've had a lot of great matches so far. Now we are into Group D. That's a win for China, a loss for Thailand, but just barely. And now we have Singapore and France coming up.
Yeah, going to see them next. So see a little bit more about how Group D will shake up going into day 2.
All right, we will do that right after this commercial break, so don't go anywhere.